and Lorena Meyer studio at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln College of Journalism and Mass Communications. This is Nebraska Nightly.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Mackenzie Noble.
And I'm Peyton Polad. But first, some changes are coming to Nebraska athletic concessions.
That's our top story this afternoon. The University of Nebraska Board of Regents met this morning, and amidst a myriad of other business, there will be some changes coming to Nebraska athletics concessions.
Aramark, a multinational food service and facilities services provider, has been approved to take over operating concession stands at Nebraska athletic venues.
Aramark will replace the athletic department as the primary concessionaire in facilities like Memorial Stadium and the Bob Devaney Sports Center. As Nebraska Athletics transitions to sell alcohol starting next season, Athletic Director Troy Dannon said during the meeting that Aramark was able to successfully integrate 6 other formerly alcohol-free athletic departments, including fellow Big Ten school, the University of Iowa.
Though the motion passed with a stark majority, Regent Tim Clare, who abstained from the vote, had some thank yous for longtime food service provider Premier Catering.
And Premier Catering family for 30 years of service to our athletic department. My hope is that Aramark can contribute to Lincoln and Nebraska and to the University of Nebraska like Valentino's did.
As for the official pizza of the Huskers, Valentino's, Athletic Director Dannon says that the Valentino's contract was expiring this year, so it will be up to the two parties to negotiate a return to Huskers concession stands.
Other business the Regents tackled today, including amending the joint contract with NEBCO at the Lincoln Ballpark and awarding Dr. Jim McClurg with the title of Regent Emeritus. Temperatures this week varied greatly from sunny 60s to frigid 20s.
And meteorologist Dominic Farrow has a first look at your weather forecast. Dominic?
Thank you, Mackenzie. Well, it's been an odd and dry winter for most of us here. Looking at our snow totals by season, that right now, least amount of snow we've seen in a season back in 2021 to 2022 at 5.1 inches. Right now, for this season, we're at 1 inch. So as long as things don't change, we have a potentially very dry, historic season ahead of us here. And we'll talk snow chances here coming up after the break.
Thank you, Dominic. On Wednesday, capital cities around the country saw protests as part of the 50-51 movement against Trump administration policies. Nebraska Nightly's Mitchell Brandt reports. At the Nebraska State House were peaceful but angry.
The first 2 weeks of President Trump's second term has brought protest across the country. At the Lincoln State Capitol, local residents gathered to protest against the administration.
I didn't even have a sign. I truly just pulled up because of solidarity, and I think everything that's going on right now is crazy, seeing all people supporting someone that just has so much hatred in his heart.
I'm just here because there's lots of issues that I care about being represented here, especially with women's rights and reproductive rights.
Ashley, in particular, as a member of Nebraska's Hispanic community, feels particularly targeted by the Trump administration.
I think Nebraska, I'm from Omaha, so I know there's like a lot of Hispanic population in there. Personally, I'm Hispanic too. And I mean, I've grown up here my whole life. I'm a citizen, but all of the immigration policies, I think it's really starting to affect my community, and it's sad.
While the protests at the Capitol remained peaceful, that did not stop the aggressive behavior towards the protesters.
No, we saw them, they just kind of stopped at the stop sign, and we figured they were just trying to record a video, and I started fearing that they were going to pull out a gun, and then seeing them just press on the gas pedal and come right towards us is pretty crazy. But yeah, they didn't hit the curb, they just went straight, thankfully.
UNL's University Programming Council hosted a live Q&A session with Comedian Club here on Wednesday evening at the Swanson Auditorium. Huron shares his behind-the-scenes insights and creative processes, as well as funny anecdotes with the audience. And to bring joy to the community, engage with one of comedy's rising voices.
We use those student fees to bring events to
campus that students can get to go to for free. And we try to do it through, we try to cater events to a variety of different groups on campus so that way there's a little bit of something for everyone.
We were gonna go to his tour in Kansas City and it sold out. So like just being here and like being able to like see him like answer questions or just like be in like his natural state of just like comedy is gonna be like really fun to see.
Today, the Lincoln Police Department announced it will begin a short traffic enforcement project focused on impaired driving for Super Bowl weekend. LPD will have additional officers on patrol from today through Sunday night to identify drivers who are impaired by drugs or alcohol. Over the course of last year, LPD arrested 1,349 drivers for DUI, the most arrests in a year for DUI since 2014. LPD encourages everyone to plan ahead during their Super Bowl festivities by designating a sober driver or using a rideshare service.
On Wednesday, Lincoln Police Department released the results from their January red light and stop sign enforcement campaign. The special attention was focused on preventing red light and stop sign violations in areas of the city where they commonly occur. Overall, officers issued 213 citations, 62 warnings, and 172 traffic stops during the month. Specifically, drivers were issued 35 stop sign citations, 27 traffic signal violations, among other violations dealing with speed, seatbelts, and registration citations. The campaign was funded by a grant from the Nebraska Department of Transportation. And coming up after the break, we will see some more forecasts from our meteorologist, Dominic Ferraro.
Social media is a daily part of many college students' lives, something we've become used to, but it can also be overwhelming and draining. Studies show that taking regular breaks from social media reduces stress and improves mental health. Too much screen time has been proven to increase anxiety, while stepping away helps you reconnect with the world around you. Take a break. Protect your mental health.
On average, every Big Ten student wastes 112 pounds of garbage each year, but there's a fix. Make sure you use an Aussie when you dine in and be a part of the change.
Of the 40 million tons of plastic waste generated in the U.S. in 2021, only 5% or 2 million tons was recycled. Make sure you do your part in keeping Anderson Hall clean. For more information on recycling statistics, visit epa.gov today.
Well, it's been a pretty quiet winter season so far. It's still making headlines. Winter weather advisory is in effect tonight until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, mainly looking at the threat of ice accumulations. We'll see some wintry mix. Expecting to be those ice accumulations to be below 1/10 of an inch. However, untreated roads could definitely become slippery. Currently right now in the capital city, however, partly cloudy skies, 44 degrees for that high temperature right now. Winds out of the southeast between 10 and 15 miles per hour. Satellite showing some upper level clouds have really been working their way fast across the country. Some of those lower level clouds have dissipated throughout the afternoon with some of that solar heating. Kind of helps break them down as we work our way into the afternoon hours and evening here across the state. Statewide temperatures right now, most of us sitting mainly in the mid to upper 40s. Seeing out there into the western part of the state, Scottsbluff at 52 for that high temperature, or that temperature right now, 46 in Ord, 45 degrees for that temperature in Kearney. Forecast for tonight, we'll be seeing that wintry mix continuing into the evening hours. The low down into the teens, 14 degrees for the low here in the capital city. Winds north-northwest between 15 and 20 miles per hour, so definitely going to be windy. Continuing into Saturday, we'll see mostly sunny skies. That high temperature just above the freezing point, 34 degrees for the high tomorrow, and continuing to see winds between the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now, talking precipitation has been pretty dry. However, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration having us to be above average the next 2 weeks, so hopefully going to finally see some of that precipitation, whether that's rain or snow. We'll have to see as we work our way here. Looking at the week ahead, seeing those snow chances return next week. Will be clear throughout the weekend here, 37 degrees on Sunday. Going to see that snow chance Monday night into Tuesday morning. But see, look at that the high temperature on Tuesday, 16 degrees there for the high. Will be mostly cloudy skies on Wednesday, and then returning to be above average Thursday and Friday. High temperatures to be in the mid-30s, and we'll see that sunshine then return. And Peyton, you're definitely going to want to keep that they're going to want to bring the coat out again. They're not quite ready for shorts weather just yet. We'll need the snow, that's for sure, but looking forward to nicer temperatures by the end of the week.
Yeah, you know, Dominic, I'm really looking forward to, and I hope these winter flurries kind of subside and we see some more spring-like weather to come in the coming weeks.
Absolutely.
As the transition in the White House continues, President Donald Trump's budgeting team issued a memo Monday, January 27th, freezing all federal spending. This sent publicly funded programs into panic and confusion. Officials say the pause is necessary to review whether spending aligned with Trump's executive orders. The day after the memo, University of Nebraska President Jeffrey Gold released a statement assuring students that Pell Grants and federal student loans were safe from the freeze. But Gold says his office is in part, quote, gaining a clearer understanding of how this pause will impact research and programmatic grants and contracts. The next day, however, the White House went back and rescinded the federal memo just 2 days after the release. No updates have been released since. Lincoln Public Schools named a new associate superintendent. Brad Jacobson will be the associate superintendent for civic engagement. Jacobson has been a principal at Ashland Greenwood Public Schools for the past 16 years. He will start on July 1st.
And UNL student leaders support the idea of an alcohol-free zone in Memorial Stadium. The Association of Students for the University of Nebraska-Lincoln voted Wednesday night to build a sober section for Husker fans in the south side of Memorial. The motive is to provide a safe environment for students now that alcohol can be sold at Memorial Stadium and the Bob Devaney Center. The Huskers No Committee will meet with President Jeffrey Gold and Nebraska Athletics this spring to discuss the construction. The section will be built over the next 2 years. And turning to national news now, many immigrants in the U.S. face a stark reality just 3 weeks into President Donald Trump's second term. Those without legal status fear deportation. Many who are here legally worry about separation from their families.
Today, Trump's immigration control efforts are heating up even more. Amy Kiley reports on the latest action in the courts and in Guantanamo Bay.
He's doing exactly what the people told him they wanted him to do.
It's a critical moment for President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. Today, a Massachusetts judge is considering a lawsuit from multiple states. It challenges an executive order on ending birthright citizenship for children of some immigrants. The Trump administration is appealing a preliminary injunction from a similar case in Seattle.
There are
responsible judges inside the judiciary who I think are taking on the Trump administration.
The administration is bringing its own lawsuit against officials in Illinois, Cook County, and Chicago. It argues law enforcement there must turn over undocumented immigrants to ICE, even if their only crime is being in the U.S. illegally.
Just let us know when you release them, let us be there. Let law enforcement work for law enforcement.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is set to visit the Guantanamo Bay Naval Base today. Trump wants to house thousands of immigrants in its migrant detention facility.
It's a place that we can build upon, that we can send them worst of the worst.
Advocates say undocumented immigrants who contribute to society deserve a pathway to citizenship, not mass deportations.
There are people who came here looking for a better life, who are law-abiding, who are actually working, who are contributing to our economy. I have 400,000 open jobs in the state of New York right now. We need their help.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And coming up, the UNL Combined Choir took a trip to Washington, D.C. to perform at the inauguration in January. They returned to campus facing mixed reactions online.
We have an exclusive interview with one member who performed in our nation's capital. Stick with us.
Okay, so how about this much?
I don't know.
Well, how about this much?
I don't know.
How about,
Actually, I don't know.
okay, maybe this much?
I don't know.
The very tip of your pencil, a fraction of a raindrop, 3 grains of salt. That's how much it takes for a dose of fentanyl to become lethal. Learn more at realdealonfentanyl.com.
As soon as I kicked one of my buddies in the head, I was like, yeah, we gotta go after
I take back what I said.
Hey, done for the day?
Yeah, just kind of maxed out on people.
Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
You know, thanks for asking. I have been feeling just kind of off lately.
Do you want me to
Concerned about a friend? Just ask and refer them to counseling and psychological services at UNL.
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly.
More than 120 UNL students made the trip to the United States Capitol on January 20th to sing at President Donald Trump's inauguration.
The University of Nebraska-Lincoln's Combined Choir joined the U.S. Marine Band for the performance during the prelude to the ceremony, at the invitation of Senator Deb Fischer.
Some UNL students now face backlash from the performance, including choir member Jennifer Castle, who received threatening messages. Castle says she understands why people are upset, but doesn't regret going, saying she wasn't singing for President Trump, instead singing for herself, the choir's recognition, and for her father, who served in the Navy.
It's an experience, Washington's my dream state, and so kind of this opportunity was just something I truly couldn't pass up, and knowing that my dad was proud of me made me feel awesome.
Despite some of the negative baggage that followed the Huskers home, most students said they enjoyed their time.
For a deep dive into the choir's trip to D.C., Nebraska Nightly's Jackie Ruiz Rodriguez sits down with another member who sang on Inauguration Day. Jackie?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with UNL student and choir member
3
Evan
minutes.
Bolt. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh my God.
Thanks. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, so what did you kind of initially think when you guys got invited?
I thought it was really cool at first. I initially wasn't going to go, but I had family telling me, they're like, this is a all expenses paid for trip to DC, and you get to perform an inauguration. Why not just go? And so I went, and it's a really cool experience.
Yeah, did you find anything surprising about the performance?
Yeah. Well, the inauguration got moved indoors because of weather, and we found out about that as we touched down in DC on the plane. And so it was a little bit up in the air about whether we would perform or how we would perform, but thankfully we had some people fighting for us to give us at least a chance to perform. And so although we didn't get to sing in front of the delegation and all the really important people, we still got to sing on national television, and it was a really great experience.
Yeah, I saw the performance and it was pretty amazing. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've heard that there's been a bit of backlash because the choir sang at the inauguration. What do you make of those comments circling online? Well,
it's tough to say. I can't speak for members of the choir as a whole. We definitely saw them. Me personally, my viewpoint on it is, regardless of who the inauguration was for and the politics involved, whether or not you agree with the politics or not, it was an all expenses paid for trip to DC. It was a great experience, and it was going to happen anyways, so I might as well have gone and taken that chance and have that memory with me, regardless of the election and who ended up being president.
So final question, would you do this all over again if you got asked?
I absolutely would, yeah. I think the performance itself was not initially what we thought it was going to be, but the experiences, seeing all of the memorials and the monuments and seeing all the Smithsonian museums, that's something that is really hard to do. A lot of people don't have the money to travel to DC regularly. Mm-hmm. And so being able to see all those pieces of national and world and natural history was really just incredible. And so just for that, I'd take the chance all over again.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Evan. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Jackie. We've heard from 2 students who sang at the inauguration, but some students chose not to participate. We spoke with one student who decided to remain at home, who says they did not attend for personal reasons.
Coming up in sports, Nebraska softball upsets number 6 Tennessee.
And the Nebraska women struggle at home against Michigan, all after the break.
Of the 40 million tons of plastic waste generated in the U.S. in 2021, only 5% or 2 million tons was recycled. Make sure you do your part in keeping Anderson Hall clean. For more information on recycling statistics, visit epa.gov today.
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Trey Marler. In 2006, Danny Busboom Kelly won the national championship as the captain of Nebraska volleyball. Now she's returning home to be the head coach of her alma mater, replacing one of the greatest volleyball coaches of all time. Nebraska Nightly's Olivia Davenport has the report from Devaney on DBK's return home.
Nebraska, a state that filled a football stadium for a women's sport, is now getting their female coach.
It's an honor to be part of a place that cares so much about the sport of volleyball and continues to push the limits and shows everybody what can be done and that it works and people care.
After 25 seasons, Nebraska volleyball is entering a new era under head coach Danny Busboom Kelly. Also known as DBK, is a former Husker, won a national championship here, and was an assistant coach under John Cook. She's moving back to her home state of Nebraska after spending 8 seasons at Louisville, where she recently coached them to the national championship. Today, over 1,000 fans came to celebrate. Troy Dannon said, "The best program in the nation deserves the best coach in the nation." And as for the players, they're confident in her commitment to this team and this state.
Piqued my interest before I ever even thought of John leaving was that I heard Danny Busboom, coach of Louisville, mentioned in there that Nebraska head volleyball coach position opens up. She's going. I thought that was interesting as I was going into my junior year. I was like, huh. You know, to be upfront with the team that you're currently coaching, that there is another team that still has your heart, speaks volumes about her commitment to Nebraska even after she left.
The Huskers will face DBK's former rival in Pitt right here in Lincoln for the First Serve Showcase in August. From the Bob Devaney Sports Center, I'm Olivia Davenport, Nebraska Nightly Sports.
Busboom Kelly rejoins the Huskers as the 4th head coach in the program's rich history. She led Louisville to the national championship game last season. She's a Nebraskan at heart and a graduate of Freeman High School in Adams, Nebraska. 1 year ago this month, what was supposed to be a grand homecoming ended in tragedy when Jordy Ball tore her ACL in the first weekend of the season. Flash forward 12 months, Ball is back in the circle. The Huskers are in the top 20, and they open the season with number 6, Tennessee. Second inning still scoreless. Ava Kuzak, the Wisconsin transfer, shows off the leather. Still not up at 0-0 after 2. Huskers take control in the 5th as Jordy Ball leaves the yard. Huskers post 5 in the inning. Top 7 now, Samantha Bland with her 3rd hit of the night. Huskers are full control, up 6-1 as they cruise in the opener, defeating Tennessee 7-1. Here is a look at the rest of the weekend for the Huskers. They're currently taking on Southern Miss right now. That score is 8-2 in the top of the 5th. They play again tonight versus Bethune-Cookman. Both those games can be seen on Game Changer. Another top 20 matchup tomorrow versus Texas Tech. That game will be televised on the MLB Network. And they wrap up the weekend at noon on Sunday against 24th ranked Mississippi State. From Florida to PBA, it's the Nebraska hosting Michigan. First quarter, Jess Petrie with the fadeaway jumper looking like Dirk Nowitzki back in his day. Huskers lead 4-3 early in the first. Second quarter, Kendall Coley buries a corner triple. Michigan still out in front, 38-21. Later in the quarter, Silas Sword lays it in for 2. She ended the night with a team-high 15 points. In the third quarter, Taylor Del Fassi gets the rebound and puts it back up for the and one. Michigan in full control as they go on to win it 78-60. We finished in the Icebox with Lincoln Stars are set to host the Omaha Lancers tonight at 7:05 Central. Lincoln enters the matchup with the best record in the USHL and currently riding a 9-game win streak, their longest since they won 10 in a row in 2018. They're expecting a sellout for the first time since 2019 over the Icebox. Over 3,700 tickets sold right now.
Well, I'm looking forward to that hockey game.
The Stars, they're on fire. They're on fire. If you haven't been to the Icebox, I highly recommend. One of the more underrated venues in the Lincoln. Again, men's basketball, they're back in action on Sunday at 1 o'clock. And obviously that Super Bowl at 5:30. Of course, Chiefs looking to be the first team to three-peat in NFL history.
Well, thank you, Trey.
The Lincoln debut of an eye-popping musical is tonight.
And a final look at the weekend forecast. Stick with us. Tonight on Nebraska Nightly. Welcome back. The 10-time Tony Award-winning Broadway musical Moulin Rouge opened at the Lead Center earlier this week.
This week, Nebraska Nightly's Bella Pitts has information on the Lead Center's new show. She now joins us live from the Lead Center. Bella?
Thanks, guys. I'm here at the Lead Center where earlier this week I was able to talk with some of the cast and crew members about why they specifically think that Moulin Rouge the musical is a fantastic show for UNL students.
In the heart of Lincoln, Moulin Rouge the musical bursts onto the stage at the Lead Center, promising a show that speaks directly to the bold and music-loving spirit of the University of Nebraska students.
Have the 4 words of the Bohemian values, truth, beauty, freedom, and love. And I think those are these universal values. I think especially students, when you're starting out, it's your first time on your own, right? And mom and dad aren't telling you where to go or what to do, and it's the greatest feeling on earth.
Actor A.K. Notterer praises the Lead Center's intimate space and relatable characters and songs, making it a standout venue, especially for university students.
Here in this center, I like it because it's a little more of an intimate space compared to other venues that we played in. So it's easier to connect with the audience because they're right there.
The Lead Center strives to integrate into university life and cultivate future attendees by making performances accessible to students and minimizing the financial barriers.
We want to check Arts for All, and we will have certain things. Sometimes there's rush tickets, there's limited free tickets or discounted tickets. So the offers are depending on each day. So be sure to check Arts for All on the Lead Center's website for University of Nebraska students, and you can find out all the opportunities. We've got dozens of shows this spring, including Moulin Rouge, and we've got great deals, and many of them are free for university students.
Here at the Lead Center, the cast and crew are currently preparing for their show tonight. Tickets are still available, and the show starts at 7:30 p.m. That's all I have for tonight. Back to you guys at the desk.
Okay. And let's take one last look at this weekend's forecast with Dominic.
Thank you, Mackenzie. We're going to be mostly clear skies into Saturday and Sunday, high of 37 for the big game. Then Monday, snow chances return in the evening hours. Will move into Tuesday morning. Cooler to start the week. Could finally see some more snow. It's been a very dry winter, but snow could be on the way.
Okay, so we should be trusting that little gopher, groundhog, or whatever.
So far, it looks like he's going to be right. He doesn't have a great track record, but I would bet on it this year, yeah. This is the year.
Well, thanks for tuning in. Nebraska Nightly is a production of the University of Nebraska's College of Journalism and Mass Communications. And we'll see you on Tuesday.